What's up, y'all? I'm going to show you how I install a jack seat and go through the steps of what I'm doing. So if you see here, I'm making sure my back cut is level, starting with the back cut. I already got a face in, so I'm going to walk around and try to clear space to where I know that I'm not cutting too much of the tree to make it go over or sit back on me. Just enough space so I can bore in that pie and I'll have enough clearance for the jack. So I've gotten to my far corner where I think I've cleared enough space, and I'm going to start working my way back to the other side of the tree. Important thing is, look how sharp that chain is. It's ripping. Still cutting on this side of the tree, making sure I have enough space. Here's me stumbling, going to get the jack, grabbing the jack, assembling it. Right here is the most important part for the jack seat. Put the jack up, measure it out. I usually have a piece of tape on my log tape, but this is a new tape. Usually have the right measurements, so I'll mark it. I'll come in and I'll start my cut. I'll make sure not to back cut too deep, because then you can create a shelf and break off pieces where you want to slam wedges. So I'll cut, and then I'll walk my tip around and I'll bore in and just clear out a little section of wood for the jack to go over. Remember, you want that jack to kind of sit snug in there so you can use all 5 inches and 53 tons of the jack when you start to jack it over. Here's the part I'm talking about. I just set that back cut in, and now I'm using my tip to clear space. I'm making sure I'm not going too far on either side of the tree and just clearing out wood for where I'm going to go in vertically and put the pie in for the jack. Now this part can be tricky if you want it to be done first go. You kind of want to look at where you've cut, cleared wood, and then look at the jack, the width of it, and that's where you'll want to go on an angle and kind of make sure you bore out, you know, the perfect amount of wood, so you don't have to keep going in and chiseling away that jack seat. So here I made a pretty decent triangle pie, enough that I know will fit the jack, but it also leaves me room to put wedges on it because I always back my jack up with wedges. This is when you know you've done it right. If you can just tap it and the jack seat comes out or the pie comes out, that means you've done a good job. You've been doing it for a while. But when I first started, that wasn't the case all the time. I was getting nervous and overthinking everything. So right here, as you can tell, I got it pretty close to that top plate of the jack. I'm happy with it. I'm gonna install it, get ready to jack it over. So the step earlier I told you about clearing space so you don't hit your chain or your bar on the jack. Right here I'm checking it before I even start to lift that jack, because if you hit your chain on that jack, it'll dull your chain, and that top plate is kind of a softer aluminum, and you can't actually chisel it out and kind of cut into it. See, this is an important part. You want to make sure on both sides of the tree you have enough space before you get that ram and jack and top plate in the butt of that tree. Because once you do that, then you are kind of screwed. Alright, so I've cleared out enough space. I think it's bueny. It's good. I'm going to start to crank up on it. Jack, I like to usually put about 6,000 pounds of pressure. That little gauge will tell me, and that'll show me what I'm getting. A little bit of lift in the tree, and it'll also show me if it starts to sit back, because that gauge will go up. Even with the wind, that gauge will go up and down and up and down. So I see this, and it helps kind of gauge everything. It helps me get some space so I can put some wedges to help back it up. So I'm over on the far side of the tree, which I've deemed the bad side, or, you know, this is where I don't want to be when that tree goes over. So I'm going to keep cutting. I'm going to look and see where my hinge placement is, and I'm also going to use my gunning sights, because the way I put that face cut in the tree, it's gunned to a certain tree out there, and I'm gunning and cutting and making sure that when I have cleared enough wood and my gunning sight sees where the tree that I've marked out there, my target, then I'll stop on that side, and that means I've cut enough. Alright, I'm adding some more pressure on the jack, install another wedge. I'm going to give it a couple taps. Left-handed, I can be okay cutting, swinging left-handed, but not the greatest. So I'm over here. Got a little bit more pressure, and now I'm on my good side. I'm going to start to clear space, and remember what I said, this side I've gunned out, or figured out a target out there in the woods, in the tree that I want this to go. So I'm going to cut until my gunning sight is on target with that tree, and that allows me to make sure that my hinge is perfect, and it's going to stay true to where I've gunned. Alright, so right here I've got the tree gunned up. I got it all cut up. I know exactly where it's going to go. I'm pretty lined up with my hinge. Right here it's kind of a rat's nest of shit. It's kind of a death trap, so I'm trying to figure out where to put my saw and everything so it doesn't get smashed when this tree goes over, because all the logs are down there. So now I'm going to start the jack. We got her. It's getting a good amount of lift. I'm looking up, making sure no hangers are shaking out and want to come kill me. These trees are nasty. Jacking. I've skinnied up that hinge a good amount that this jack really pushed this tree over quick. You know, I probably only got about 2.5, maybe 3 inches of jack out in this. But I didn't want to pull the jack out because I had to get out of here when these logs started moving. But success, went over. The goal here was to get it to hit the bank, because up the hill it would have slid down and taken out the guardrail. So hit it up the bank, it landed softly, and then it rolled into the road. Thank you. Bye.